Welcome back. We're discussing the results of Super Tuesday in the U.S. election campaign, where 24 states voted in primaries and caucuses to select presidential candidates for both Democratic and Republican parties. Joining me from Miami is Dr. Donna Shalala, the president of University of Miami and former cabinet member in the Clinton administration. From New York, we have Marie Wilson, founder of the White House Project. And here in Washington, D.C., Republican strategist Karen Hanratty. And Dr. Shalala, if I could get back to you, and there's a quote from a while back where you said in the past that people assumed wrongly that Hillary Clinton would succeed in the political arena irrespective of being married to Bill Clinton. And you were saying it's a question, you know, it's more about judgment, it's experience, it's being strategic at the right points. What lessons do you think that Senator Clinton has learned in her time from being First Lady in the White House to how she might change her approach to taking the full office in the White House this time?
Well, I think she's learned a lot about compromise, about taking steps towards a goal, but in terms of judgment and incredible brilliance, there's no question that Hillary Clinton has all the qualities to be president of the United States. But she's learned a lot about bipartisan politics, how you get things done in Washington, and how you have to be very persistent and very clear-minded. And so I think she will go back to a leadership position from the Senate seat, and I'm assuming she's going to get elected with a lot more experience than she had before.
Now, I wonder if I could ask Marie Wilson, you know, if you look at someone like Hillary Clinton taking office, could she handle the military, which is, as we know, sort of has been very vocal in its criticism and support, depending on who you speak to, of the current U.S. president? Could she handle military in the same way as perhaps a male president? Would they be as accepting?
Oh, I think actually she would be in a good place. She's been on the Armed Services Committee. People forget that she has actually a lot of experience with the military. When she was First Lady, when she was actually involved in traveling overseas and dealing with what Dr. Shalala talked about in terms of human rights, she learned a great deal, not just about the issues of women and democracy, but the issues of the military. She made some votes that have been tough for her, but I think that's one of the reasons she's had a hard time. I don't think people understand that she knows both sides of what we're dealing with in terms of foreign policy. She understands that you have to use the military as a tool, but she clearly knows about diplomacy. She knows you have to use foreign policy because, again, she's been on these different committees. But one of the things that's really in her favor is people have not noticed the change in the polls on this issue, and that is we've been polling for 4 years, and over half the voters in this country now trust women at the same level or more than men on Homeland Security, foreign policy, and the economy, and more than men on human rights. So she's got some changes in voters' minds behind her. Well,
it's great to hear from Tunisia. We've got Nissan on the line from Tunis. Go ahead with your question, please.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, go ahead.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, go. What's your question, Nissan?
Yeah, how you guys doing? Actually, I like very much. I like very much the question and the debate about tonight. Well, my question is about Hillary Clinton and especially about the Middle East, because the problem of the Middle East has been for all those decades. That's been a big, big problem for all those administrations that came in power. I mean, what they did for the Middle East is there. Hillary Clinton will be president.
Listen, let's ask Dr. Shalala, obviously has experience in the Clinton administration, how perhaps Hillary Clinton might take on the Middle East issue.
Well, I think she'll be tenacious about the Middle East. One of the concerns that she's had about the current administration is that they didn't start out during their first years. In fact, they walked away from the issues of the Middle East. I know Mrs. Clinton believes that an American president has to have the Middle East very high on their agenda, not simply the war in Iraq, but an attempt to get a settlement that's fair to both the Palestinians as well as the Israelis in a way that will provide for lasting peace. She's been in and out of Palestine as well as Israel much of her career. She knows the leadership, she knows the issues, And I would expect her to deal with it directly and to assign her Secretary of State to go to work immediately. So one cannot assume that we're just going to see the Middle East as Iraq, but she very much knows those issues as well as anyone in American public life. And as an Arab American, I'm particularly sensitive about this issue. And I can assure you that she's not only experienced, but I would expect all the Democratic candidates to have it very high on their agenda.
I have to say, Karen Hanratty, that one of the issues, I mean, it's natural for people during the campaigning to focus on domestic issues because the voters are here and that's who they want to appeal to. But it seems that, you know, the international issues that have been big on the voters' agenda, you know, from Iraq through to Afghanistan and other conflicts, haven't really been mentioned in a big way in the campaigning. Foreign policy hasn't featured as largely as it might have, except for this issue about troops in Iraq.
No, I think it will be once we get to the general election. And it's interesting that I think that foreign policy is a strong suit for Hillary Clinton. And I'm a bit surprised that she hasn't played that card a bit more against Barack Obama, because Secretary Shalala is absolutely correct. Hillary Clinton has established relationships that Barack Obama simply does not have. And if it comes to a matter of leadership, experience, I might not agree with Hillary Clinton. I might not agree with her policies on foreign policy, but hands down, she's a woman. I would feel much more confident with Hillary Clinton at the helm than Barack Obama when it comes to foreign policy, quite frankly. Simply because I think she has a better understanding of the world and has a better understanding of international diplomacy.
Well, let's see if we can squeeze in a call from Saudi Arabia. Marzouk is on the line.
Karen makes...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to make a point. Karen makes a very good point that it's very important for your international audience to understand. Our primaries are often fought over domestic issues. Right. The national campaign, once we get the two candidates, will very much be a campaign about the economy as the domestic issue and then international issues, including the issue of Iraq.
Well, let's squeeze in Marzouk from Saudi Arabia. Marzouk, what would you like to ask?
Yes. Is America ready for a black president?
Okay. Well, let's ask Karen Hanratty first. A black president. Is America ready for a black president?
You know, I think America is ready for a black president. Barack Obama is likable on so many levels. And I think, you know, if he wins his party's nomination, you're going to see a lot of Republicans who, again, they might not agree with him. They might not want him to be president. But I think they'll be very proud of the fact that we have finally broken through this barrier. That we have an African American who is not running on race. He's not making race a primary component of his election. And I think it really just changes the dynamics. I hope it changes. I think a lot of Republicans hope it changes the dynamics of racial politics in America. And yeah, I do think that Barack Obama is the right man to be president. If we're going to elect the first African American, it's absolutely Barack Obama.
Well, Karen Hanratty, Marie Wilson and Dr. Donald Shalala, thank you very much for joining us, all of you, and excellent conversation. I hope to speak with you all again soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for being with us too. On tomorrow, a conversation with music legend Carlos Santana. Don't forget, if you have any thoughts about pressing issues, send your emails to riz@aljazeera.net. We don't have Street Talk today, but it'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you then.